Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today's question is, can I analyze the case of Hunter Moore? He is the subject of a 2022 documentary on Netflix titled The Most Hated Man on the Internet. Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I will put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. First, I'll look at the background of this case, including the timeline of the crime, then offer my analysis. Hunter Moore was born on March 9, 1986, and grew up in Woodland, California. This is about 25 minutes northwest of Sacramento. In 2010, Hunter started a website called Is Anyone Up? He originally designed it to feature content related to nightlife, but he changed its purpose early on. Hunter had received some images from his friends that contained women who had a deficit of clothing. He decided to put those images on his website. Hunter set up his website so that anyone could upload both images and videos of people. The preferred submissions involved images that were embarrassing to the subject. Most of the images uploaded featured women and were sent to the website without their consent. For any particular submission, Hunter would figure out who the woman was and link the images to her social media profiles. This way the woman would be harassed on social media and not just on his website. He had a comment section on the website and would encourage people to make disparaging remarks about the women. It was later discovered that Hunter was not only receiving submissions, but he was paying a man named Charles Evans to hack email accounts in order to obtain additional images. By posting both legally and illegally obtained images on his website, Hunter's online presence became pronounced. He accrued a number of fans and detractors. There wasn't really anyone in the middle. People either loved him or hated him, and over time, both groups expanded quite a bit. When victims would contact Hunter to remove images from the website, he would ignore them or laugh at them. He was defiant against threats of lawsuits, claiming that he had the legal right to post the images. Technically, simply posting the images was not against the law, but Hunter forgot to mention the hacking part in his responses. One of Hunter's hacking victims was named Kayla Laws. She had taken an explicit image of herself for personal use only. She never shared it with anybody or intended for anyone to see it. She used her email to store the image because she ran out of space on her phone. Sometime later, her email was hacked, and the image appeared on Hunter's website. Kayla's mother, Charlotte Laws, asked Hunter to remove the image, but he would not comply. Eventually, Kayla's father, an attorney, threatened to enforce Kayla's copyright on the image. Kayla had taken the image, therefore she automatically owned the copyright. Hunter removed the image, but Charlotte did not stop trying to expose his behavior. Charlotte reached out to other victims and compiled evidence which suggested that Hunter was illegally obtaining some of the images. She eventually handed this over to the FBI, who launched an investigation into Hunter's activity. As this was going on, Hunter was facing a number of lawsuits and death threats. One of the women featured on his website stabbed him in the shoulder with a pen. There's no word on how the pen is doing. Hunter fled his residence and lived with his grandmother in order to protect himself from homicide. As the FBI investigation continued, Hunter sold his website to a man named James McGibney, who in turn directed it to an anti-bullying website, effectively defeating the original purpose of Hunter's website. James later sued Hunter for defamation and was awarded a $250,000 judgment. Hunter had made allegations against James that were unfounded and offensive and threatened to harm his wife. The FBI completed their investigation, and Hunter was arrested for conspiracy, unauthorized access to a protected computer, and aggravated identity theft. He was indicted on January 23, 2014, and released on a $100,000 bond 2 days later. FBI officials watched him dismantle equipment used to operate his website. This was a condition of his bond. Hunter also wasn't allowed to be on the internet at all. On February 18, 2015, Hunter pleaded guilty to aiding and abetting in the unauthorized access of a computer and aggravated identity theft. Later, he was sentenced to 30 months in prison and 3.5 years of supervised release. In July 2015, Charles Evans pleaded guilty to identity theft and computer hacking. He would later be sentenced to a term of 25 months in prison. Hunter Moore was released from prison in 2017. In 2022, he posted a message on social media indicating that he did his time in prison and was living his life peacefully. He will not apologize. He doesn't owe anybody anything. Now moving to my analysis. Here are my thoughts on a few items that stood out to me in this case. Item number 1. The Netflix documentary emphasized the role of Charlotte Laws in bringing down Hunter Moore. Even after the image of her daughter was removed, Charlotte kept pursuing Hunter and ultimately played a major role in his downfall. Hunter picked on a lot of people who were unable to defend themselves, but then he ran into Charlotte, who used her investigative skills to bring an end to his criminal career. Charlotte was definitely one of the heroes in the documentary. Item number 2. Hunter could have operated his website with minimal difficulty if he changed just 2 aspects of his behavior: taking down images after receiving requests to do so, and not hacking into emails. He had plenty of images being uploaded every day. There was no need to keep them up against people's will or to steal the images from email accounts. Hunter clearly wanted and enjoyed attention. He knew he was getting a lot of attention. It's difficult to understand why he thought he was safe from an investigation by law enforcement. It's almost like he became caught up in the excitement of his sadistic acts, or he needed the illegal component to make it exciting. Which brings me to item number 3. Sadism is a theme observed throughout the Netflix documentary on Hunter Moore. He appeared to take pride and joy in his ability to cause embarrassment. He linked images to social media profiles and had a comment section in which he specifically asked his fans to ridicule the people in the images. His website was not simply about viewing images, it was about humiliating people. Many people who are sadistic make an effort to hide their behavior because they do not like negative feedback. The criticism has some effect on how they feel, like it erodes the gratification. Sometimes sadistic people find pleasure in being known as sadistic. They feed off both positive and negative responses. In these situations, the person has a lack of shame. This case is a great example of how sometimes shame is useful. A world without shame would lead to an increased number of people like Hunter Moore. Item number 4. Hunter appeared to move from bold and overly confident to apprehensive and fearful. For example, his concerns about illegal images that were being sent to him led him to selling his website. But then he promised to bring another version of his website back and make it even more destructive and humiliating. For example, it was supposed to have driving directions to the victims' homes. It's almost like Hunter could not decide what he stood for. After becoming frightened, he would once again become defiant and make more sadistic plans. It kind of reminds me of a small bully who is confronted by a large bully. The small bully initially backs down, but when the large bully leaves the area, the small bully is ready to fight again. Like they were embarrassed by their own fear and want to prove to everyone that they are really a tough guy. Now moving to the last item, number 5. During the time when Hunter's website was popular, he attracted a number of different types of visitors. Some people who visited his website were casual viewers, others were curious, and some belonged to a group referred to as involuntarily celibate, or incels. Hunter became a hero to the incels. This group was almost certainly responsible for leaving many of the offensive comments under the images. They particularly enjoyed the idea of women being humiliated. There are a few types of incels. They can be male or female. Some even have partners. But the most common conceptualization of this group would be a male who has never dated and never had sex. They often refer to themselves as beta males. Here are some characteristics of this group. They believe that sex is a basic human right. They refer to attractive women using the name Stacy. Attractive men, or alpha males, are referred to using the name Chad. The beta males hate both the Stacys and the Chads of the world. They believe that attractive women always desire alpha males, which means that the beta males always lose. The beta males view themselves as physically unattractive. They believe that romantic attraction can be reduced to just physicality. They discount the role of personality in attracting a mate. The beta males mostly express themselves online and have not organized themselves very well. Some hope for what they call the beta uprising. This is a rebellion where the beta males will wipe out the alpha males and have all the women to themselves. The women will settle for having sex with the beta males because they will be the only males available. I find it interesting that in the rebellion fantasy, the beta males still consider themselves unattractive. If they are engaging in fantasy anyway, why not make themselves physically attractive? I guess from their point of view, the idea of being attractive is somehow more unrealistic than the idea of them leading a massive rebellion against alpha males. Moving to the next question in this item, what about the personality profile of a beta male? The typical profile is low openness to experience, low conscientiousness, low extroversion, low agreeableness, and high neuroticism. Beta males tend to have a number of characteristics of vulnerable narcissism, including shame, resentment, social awkwardness, self-hatred, internalized anger, and hypersensitivity to criticism. Like most groups, beta males have heroes and role models. Most of the time, they elevate their heroes from their own ranks. However, the group has a special connection with another group they refer to as pickup artists. The pickup artists are narcissistic, aggressive, immature, and manipulative men who exhibit charm and social dominance to attract women. I think this might explain what happened with Hunter Moore. The beta males viewed him as the ultimate pickup artist, someone who not only was able to attract a large number of women, but who at the same time had a clear contempt for women. The women were attracted to him as he was insulting them. Hunter Moore was who every beta male fantasized about being. They wished that romance worked that way. It proved to them that men who were shallow and crude could be successful at finding sex. One of the primary goals of the beta males is to get revenge on attractive women. Hunter was living the dream of the beta males. He was accomplishing everything they wanted out of life. Now moving to my final thoughts. Hunter Moore's short-lived popularity was indicative of a larger underlying problem. The audience that he attracted was destructive, sadistic, and hated women. It's concerning how many people supported him and how vigorously they encouraged his activities. The beta males and some other men have a contempt for women which is barely below the surface, waiting to be activated by clumsy and misguided manipulators like Hunter. Their standards for leadership are so low that even Hunter Moore qualifies. Those are my thoughts in the case of Hunter Moore. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comment section. They always generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis of this topic to be informative. Thanks for watching.